Beautiful. Welcome, everybody. How awesome is it to see you all? We're just going to give a couple of minutes to let everyone jump in, and then we'll get started. I'm just going to spotlight some people so we can say hello. I'd love you to pop in the chat for me where you're from and whether you have a Thermomix at the moment or whether you're waiting to purchase one. And if you do have a Thermomix, what's your favourite dish? Or what is an Asian dish that you've tried, given that that's our theme for tonight? So I'll just give you a couple of minutes to do that. We've still got people coming through the waiting room, which is awesome. Okay, so my name's Tracy Griffin and I am the team leader for a fabulous team of Thermomix consultants, and we are called the Golden Stars, and we are situated from Ararat, Bendigo, across to Mildura and Swan Hill. So we cover all that area in between. So I'll just like to introduce you to my wonderful team. He's going to be showing you some amazing Asian cuisine and show you how easy it is to do in your Thermomix. So we have Conchetta Morgan. How are you, Conchetta?
I'm well, thank you, Tracy. Hello, everyone.
Where are you situated, Conchetta? Can you tell me a little bit about your Thermomix story?
Yep, I'm from Mildura. I'm about to hit 4 years since I joined Thermomix. Joined as a bit of a way to earn some extra cash and have stayed on because it's so much fun, and yeah, I just love sharing the Thermomix.
That's awesome. We can't wait to see your beautiful tom yum with prawns tonight.
Yes, looking forward to it. I haven't tried the recipe, but I'm keen it'll be really delicious.
Awesome.
And we've also,
we've also got the amazing Bree. How are you, Bree?
Good evening. I'm good, thank you. I'm good, thank you. How are you, Trace?
I'm good. And where are you situated?
I'm situated in Ballarat. I've been doing Thermomix for about 1.5 years now. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Beautiful. Can't wait to see this chicken teriyaki. It's going to be amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. And last but not least, by all means, is the amazing Anne O'Connor. And where are you situated, Anne? Oh, hang on. I've got to unmute you. Unmute.
Yeah.
There you go.
Sorry about that. I'm in Bendigo and I've been a consultant for 10 years and I've sold the 31, the 5 and the 6 and I love it. I really, really do. I've done it as sort of part-time job, full-time job and a bit in between. So I've sold over 600 Thermomixes now.
Wow, that's a big Thermomix family you've got there. So I'm so excited to see how we're going to make these bao buns with salmon tonight. I just can't wait to see that in action. So we'll be popping back to you a little bit later on. So what we're going to be doing now, Bree's going to start off for us tonight, and Bree's making the amazing chicken teriyaki. So all of these dishes that we're doing tonight are available on cookiedoo.com.au, and I will be sending you all an email with a link to these recipes. So let's get started. Go for it, Bree.
Righto. Hi, everyone. Tonight I'm cooking chicken teriyaki. This is a bit of a family favourite for us. It's a really quick, simple, easy recipe. It's got a 4.5 rating, so if you're familiar with Cookiedoo, that's a great rating. And yeah, it's a pretty quick and easy cook. So good midweek meal. And you know, it often gives people a bit of a surprise that you can cook a stir fryer in a Thermomix. It's just amazing. So I hope you can see from the screen there, but we've just jumped in. It's in my weekly plan. It's got a difficulty is easy, and then prep time 10 minutes, total time 20, and it serves 4 people. So we're just going to jump straight in. Righto, tear it back to 0. So it wants some olive oil. The wonderful thing about this TM6, which most of you probably know, is that it is precise to the 1 gram, which is great for accuracy and ease of use. So
makes a huge difference for those really precise recipes as well, doing that 1 gram.
Yeah, absolutely. It's awesome. So I've just put in some olive oil, and now it's asking for some chicken thigh. Tear it back to 0. And I've already pre-cut this, so it's nice and easy. I actually made this earlier in the week, and I did it in 2 batches because we made like 2 batches of chicken because we like ours with a little bit more meat. So just repeated the exact same steps.
That's a great tip for bulking out the meals. I often do a kilo of chicken with this recipe. So to do that, as Bree was talking about, you do the first step, you do your 250 grams of chicken, you take that out, hit the back arrow, and then it allows you to redo that step again. So it's a great way to bulk out your meals.
I thought I'd just say, just in case we've got some TM5 or 31 users on here, or even people that haven't got a Thermomix yet, this is our splash guard. It's just a safety feature that the TM6 uses for high heat functions. It's fantastic. And the machine's just asking me to pop that on top right now, just to stop myself from getting any oil flicks or anything up. So put it on, done. And now it's asking to do a 5-minute cook. So right now it's doing a high heat cook, and it'll do that for about 5 minutes while stirring it, so it won't get burnt or stick to the bottom.
That's awesome. Absolutely fantastic. Look how quick and easy that was to get it started. Now, you got the 5 minutes. You can go off and do whatever it is that you need to do, and your Thermomix will let you know when it's ready, yeah?
Yes, no, it's great for when you've got little kids running around and you're trying to do the odd job. So when I come back, it'll be all ready, all done, and it will have stopped cooking and ready for the next step.
Beautiful. Okay. So that brings you up to me. So tonight I'm actually going to be making a steamed banana pudding. Now, this recipe is actually a Skinny Mixers recipe. I can't actually share this recipe with you for copyright, but if you go onto the Skinny Mixers website or you've got any of their books, it is available in there. Now, just as I'm about to start, my Thermomix turns off, which it always does. So let's go. So this is a really popular Malaysian dessert, and it's usually found wrapped in banana leaves. So tonight we're going to be making it in our Thermomix in our silicone molds, which go into our varoma. The first step of this recipe, I'm just letting someone else in the waiting room. Now, the first step of this recipe, they've asked me to place some sugar and water in the bottom of my mold and 1 slice of banana, which I have done. And they're the little dairy molds that are available in the mix shop, and they sit beautifully in the varoma. So we're going to be doing 6 of these. So I'm just going to pop those aside. Now, tonight I'm going to show you how easy it is to follow a recipe in a manual mode. So I'll put them aside. So if you wanted to use almond meal, if you had gluten-free options, now is the time you would put in your almonds, mill them for 15 seconds, and that turns into almond flour. So that is a really good gluten-free option for this recipe as well. So tonight we're just going to be using normal flour, very, very basic recipe. So basically it's asking for 200 grams of ripe bananas. So these, great recipe for those bananas that are way over their use by date. And I forgot to bring up the scale, so just bear with me a second. Okay, so if I swipe across my screen like so, and I go to the scales and click it, it'll bring up the scale for me. Just popping my bananas, so 105, need a bit more. So I want 200 grams for this recipe. So I throw them in, just rough, which is fine. It's also asking for 1 egg, a full egg, goes straight in. It's asking for 90 grams of flour or almond meal if you wanted to do a gluten-free option. So I've just teared back my scales and I'm going to add my flour now, and it's going to weigh it for me. I love being able to use recipes that aren't on Cookie Do, that you can just do manually or make up your own recipes as you go along, which is absolutely fantastic. It's asking me for 30 grams of brown sugar. So I've just teared back my scales, going to add my sugar in, and once again, it weighs it beautifully. 1 teaspoon of vanilla paste. That's another awesome ingredient. Look at that. You can make in your Thermomix and it will save you so much money. If you haven't tried the vanilla paste, please do so. Pop in the chat for me if you have and what your thoughts are. 2 teaspoons of baking powder and 30 grams of coconut oil. How simple is that recipe? 5 or 6 ingredients, and we've got our pudding in. Okay, pop on the lid. And we need to blitz that down for 15 seconds. So I'm going to go to my home screen. Again, here. Set my timer for 15 seconds. And it's wanting me to go on speed 4. It's pretty basic. I haven't made this recipe before, but I have made a lot of other steamed puddings in my Thermomix. There's a lemon lava one, there's chocolate fondant, chocolate lava cakes, all that good stuff. So make sure you check out Cookie Do and give them a go. Not so much Asian, but delicious nonetheless. Okay, so there's my mix. Perfect. It's asking me just to scrape down. Now, for people who are new to Thermomix, when a recipe asks you to scrape down the sides of the bowl, it literally wants you to get your spatula and scrape down towards the blade. And that is pushing all that ingredient back around those blades so it can mix it really nice. So I need to blend that again for 5 seconds on speed 4. Did you notice I didn't set my timer? So you can, if you're not using the heat function, you can actually just turn the knob for it to turn on whatever speed you like, and it will count up as well. So you don't always have to set the timer for your Thermomix. Okay, so that's my batter. I don't think it could be any easier. Even, like, I don't think, even a cake mix that you buy at the shop that you pay $6 for, which is ridiculous in my opinion, would even be that easy. Okay, so I've got our mould here, and the recipe is asking me to spoon equal amounts of this batter into these moulds. So that's, I'm going to half fill them and then move on to the next one. Now, this recipe also, along with a lot of other Thermomix recipes, you can halve them, you can double them, depending on what size of family or people you want to feed. Particularly a lot of the Asian dishes, you can double the meat and the vegetables that Brianna was talking about a little bit earlier on. I've just got one more to go. They smell amazing. I wish you could smell it. It's a bit like banana bread, isn't it? Okay. Righto. So they're all now in those silicone molds. I'll just hold them up and show you. Can you see those in there? So they're about 3/4 filled. And what will happen is I'm now going to get my second bowl, which I hope everyone here that has a Thermomix has a second bowl or third or fourth bowl. If you haven't, reach out to your consultant because it'll change your life. Definitely. Okay, we're going to measure in 300 grams of water. Once again, I've brought my scales up manually, pouring it straight out of the kettle. And when I'm cooking these sort of dishes, I like to have my kettle boiled because it actually reduces the cooking time if you put in hot water straight into your Thermomix. So I've got my water in, basically setting my Varoma on top with my lid. I'm going to cook that down for 20 minutes. And it wants to go on Varoma speed 2. So the Varoma speed, make sure you turn your dial right around and keep going right around to Varoma. It makes sure that it's going to produce enough steam to cook up through the bowl and cook the pudding in the top of the Thermomix. And that's you're going to see that a lot tonight because your Varoma is probably the best kept secret of the Thermomix, in my opinion. So they're ready to go and they're set. So I'm going to now add back Brianna and see how she's going with her chicken, and we'll show you these a bit later on.
Righto. Okay, so we're back. Our chicken has cooked. I'll just show you. I'll take off the splatter guard and the lid. I don't know if you can see that. Oop. So there is our chicken that has sauteed nicely. Gonna go next. Using the tongs, transfer the chicken into a serving bowl. This is a serving bowl. If anyone doesn't have one of these, definitely hit up your consultant because these are fantastic. They will keep your food hot for 3 to 4 hours. So they're just wonderful. So using tongs, transfer the chicken.
The Thermomix servers are absolutely fantastic. As Brie just said, they keep your food hot and cold depending on the temperature you place inside for up to 2 hours. Now, there's a whole family of these amazing bowls. There's the oval one, there's the 2.6 litre round, and we've also got the 500 ml, which is fantastic for, if you've got kids at basketball and you've made spaghetti or something, pop it in that smaller one. It'll keep hot for them for 2 hours.
I just thought I'd show you how much room I've got. So that's 250 grams of chicken. So there is so much more room if you want to double, triple, quadruple the recipe and do a few different batches of chicken like I normally do when I double it. And I also just double the sauce then in the next step. So now it's asking for 30 grams of shallot. So I've got the scales on 0 and I'm just going to weigh that in nicely. A little bit over, that won't matter. Next, 100 of red capsicum. Now I'll say too, I'm not sure if this is the same with you, Trace, but when I make this recipe, I actually often throw in a few other things, just whatever I've got lying around. I won't for the purpose of tonight, but I think this week, what did I put in it? Maybe some cauliflower and a few other items.
Yeah, you can add whatever vegetables you like. Absolutely. Along with a lot of these recipes, you can add whatever you want. Lemongrass is another great flavour you could add to go along with the Asian theme as well. It really is up to you.
It's actually a really versatile recipe.
Yep.
This one, even when you're serving it, you could do it with vermicelli, you could do it with rice, whatever you want to do. So now it's just asking for some broccoli, 120 grams, another 20 of olive oil. So it's just going to weigh that in for me. Next, so place splash guard onto the mixing bowl lid to prevent splashing.
Can we just have a look at can I just have a look at the quantity in that bowl there, please? Yep.
Not
so
much.
You've got all your vegetables nice and big. You could easily double that quantity. So this is a great recipe. If you're feeding a bigger family, you can easily double this recipe as you go along without any problem at all.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just, I think too, it's a really good like end of the week recipe when you do have a couple of little, you know, different vegetables in your fridge, like half of this and half of that. Oh, zucchini is something I throw in too. We had the end of a zucchini left a few days ago and I just tossed that in too and a few other things. And it's just such a good versatile recipe.
Absolutely. I can't wait to see it because the veggies are going to be so bright when you mix it all together, which is beautiful. So thank you, Bree. We'll pop back to you a little bit later on. So at the moment, we're going to head across to Conchetta. How are you going?
I'm well, thank you, Tracy. I'm a bit excited to try this recipe. So
Yeah.
I'm making a spicy tom yum soup with prawns.
Wow. I'm just going to, as you get me, I'm just going to go through the chat. We've got lots of people who love their second bowl. We've got some people who make their own vanilla paste, which is awesome. A few people have tried the bower buns that Anne's going to make, and we haven't had anyone try this recipe. So I'm really excited for you to be able to show them how easy it is.
So I've just added some coriander leaves and stems and some Thai basil. So now we're going to chop that for 3 seconds. Let's wait for our lid to release. And that's our garnishing herbs all done. So just set those aside. Smells amazing. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, so transfer and set aside. As you can see, the instructions are very clear and simple. So we've got 1 green chilli. It doesn't say to de-seed it, but I have. I'm a little bit cautious. But you can add extra chilli, take chilli out, whatever you like. It's completely flexible. I use the recipe as simply a guide. 4 garlic cloves.
Now with the seeds, doesn't the seeds add extra heat?
They do make it a little bit hotter. So it's some garlic cloves, some ginger, which I've sliced. You see, weighing that straight in. The recipe called for shallots, but my dad has loads of spring onions growing in his garden, so I'm going to substitute the recipe for those. So a little bit different, but I'm sure it'll be fine. So now we'll just add 20 grams of olive oil. No extra dishes. We haven't dirtied any spoons or anything so far. So we'll do a 5-second chop and we'll chop those ingredients. See what this smells like. Oh, look at that. Oh, it smells like I'm on holidays.
So easy. You wouldn't cut that up in 5 seconds.
No, you wouldn't. I'll just scrape down the sides. Oh, it smells so amazing. Now some lemongrass. So what it's asking us to do is bruise it. So I'm just going to use my beautiful cleaver that I earned from Thermomix, and I'm just going to hammer them a little bit and bruise them up. And they're not that great to eat, so we're going to leave them in sort of larger chunks so they're easier to fish out in the end. So what we're going to do now is cook that for 2 minutes.
Okay, so let's talk about the herbs that you've just used, because they are typical Asian herbs that you can use in a lot of different Asian dishes. So can we just recap what they were? You had lemongrass,
Ginger, coriander, Thai basil. This is Thai basil here. Isn't it gorgeous?
oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Is that in your garden? Do you grow it?
No, it's actually in the primary school garden just down the road from me. So
Love it.
someone gave me a bunch.
That is awesome. Sounds amazing.
Yep.
Now, can you talk to me, just while we've got this little bit of time, around that broth you made?
Yes. So the recipe calls for chicken broth, or you can make vegetable broth. So this is the gut health bone broth recipe. So it's chicken wings, turmeric, ginger, onion, celery, and carrots. So the recipe suggests that you cook it for an hour, but I wanted a really deep, gelatinous sort of heavy bone broth. So I swapped the recipe to the slow cook mode and I cooked it for 6 hours. And that just kept it at the perfect temperature, turning it occasionally and just making this liquid gold.
Oh, how simple is that?
I had to warm it up because it's actually sets to like a jelly consistency. So that's all the goodness.
Yep. Fantastic. Now, on Cookie Do, if people want to try some different Asian broths, write down this recipe, wonton soup. It is absolutely delicious. It shows you how to make the wontons, but the broth that you make for that recipe is so diverse and beautiful. The dumplings I'm going to be making, you can definitely use it for those as a dumpling soup as well. So there's a lot of different Asian options on cookiedo.com.au. Even if you just go in the search bar and search up Asian or Asian food, it will come up with so many opportunities for you. Okay, so it looks like we're finished.
We have finished and it smells so good. Okay, so now we're going to add our bone broth. So this calls for chicken stock, or you could add vegetable stock. So approximately, I'm hoping I have approximately 800 grams. Well, that will do. It's close enough. This is only actually for me. Everyone else has had dinner tonight. 50 grams of fish stock.
And what a dinner you're going to have.
I know. I know. Hopefully there'll be some left over for lunch.
Yep. So was that broth on Cookie Do, Conchetta? Is that in the...
Yes, it's in the gut health recipe book.
Okay.
So if you search up bone broth, it does come up.
Okay. I'll also add that to our emails for everyone on tonight. I'll add that link in our email.
Okay, so I'm the queen of substitutes. It asks for oysters, but the supermarket only had enoki mushrooms, so I'm going to use those. But what I'm also going to use is my thermic scissors that come in this toolkit, which is a gift with purchase this month, along with this waste or less waste cookbook, which is an absolute gorgeous cookbook. And this toolkit, I'll just show you. This is my favourite knife. My children laugh at me all the time because I call it my favourite knife.
I use it all the time too. And you know what? Those toolkits, I've got one in the van and I've got one in my kitchen and one in my consultant toolkit, and I have earned them all. It's amazing.
Yes, I love mine. So a couple of snips there into my enoki mushrooms. Pop those in. And now we're at an 8 minutes cook.
Wow. So you've basically set up your dinner, walk away, and you can come back and add some prawns and you've got your meal done.
Yes, and I'm actually going to add some noodles as well, which aren't in the recipe, but I figure why not? So I've got some vermicelli noodles that I'm going to toss in.
Awesome. I'm going to come back to you in a little while and see how you're going with that. So along with those themes of our Asian cuisine tonight, I'm going to show you how easy it is to make dumplings. Now, everyone I know loves dumplings. Pop in the chat for me. your favorite dumpling and where you get them from. Do you make them? Do you buy them? I want to know, you know, where people are at with this dumpling recipe. So let's get started. So I've saved this onto my meal plan because it is on Cook You Do. So if I go into my home screen, just bring up my recipes and click on my week. It's a bit glary, but you can see it coming through. It comes up here ready for me to do. So I know I've got the ingredients. I did my meal plan earlier in the week and I can just go along and start cooking. If I scroll down a little bit, it'll give me all my ingredients and steps on what I'm about to do, which is great. Now, someone asked, how do we get slow cook mode? I'm going to go through that with you at the end of the class. So I haven't forgotten, but we will go through that with you in a little while. I'm just going to start cooking. Once again, I've got my third bowl. You cannot have too many bowls. Okay, it's asking for 200 grams of Chinese cabbage. Now that's wombok cabbage. And it's available in all supermarkets. You can pretty much get it anywhere. I've just bought like half a cabbage, and it's going to be a little bit over 200 grams, but it doesn't matter. Going to hit next. 40 grams of celery cut into pieces. You'll notice the scales are coming up automatically. You can see them. Throw them in, and some spring onion as well. Just chopped up. They don't need to be really very small, just rough. Throw those in the top. You do need to trim them, the ends off and the top, and it's asking for some salt. Insert measuring cup. So you can see my bowl is really quite full, and you watch this. It'll blitz it down to nothing. Speed 5, 10 seconds. Easy peasy. Now it's asking me to transfer this into a simmering basket. So here I am. I've just got this one, and I'm literally just going to be transferring those in. Straight into that simmering basket. So it's step by step on here, tells you everything you need to do. Transfer into simmering basket and rest for 1 to 2 minutes, pressing the cabbage towards the sides of the basket to get rid of that excess liquid. Now, Anne mentioned this a little bit earlier in relation to the zucchini. She sort of drew out a lot of the zucchini so it wasn't going to be too mushy. So basically all I'm going to be doing is pushing it into the sides. Can you see that liquid coming through now? It's going to take the moisture out of the cabbage so our dumplings aren't too liquidy. I can't see it very well on the camera. The other option you can do, if you didn't want to use a simmering basket, you could use a nut meal bag or a sieve of some sort, which would do the same thing. Okay.
We can definitely see, Trace, it's working really well.
Oh, good. I'm actually just going to have to wash my hands, so excuse me for 1 second. There's my liquid. I'm just going to discard that liquid. Okay. You should smell these banana puddings. They're delicious. So we squeeze out excess water, transfer to a bowl and set aside. We've done that. So it's asking for 250 grams of mince. You can use pork, beef or chicken. So tonight I'm using beef. And I'm literally just going to throw that in. So I just bought your normal mince from the supermarket. Throw that in. a teaspoon of sesame oil, vegetable oil, oyster sauce. So these are all your flavors, your Asian flavors that are going into your dumplings. A teaspoon of white sugar. Here's my sauces going in. So your sesame oil and your oyster sauce, you definitely want them in your pantry for lots of dishes actually, but they're pretty much in every Asian type dish that you're going to make. Some sugar, light soy sauce, and some white pepper. Now, I don't have white pepper, so I'm just using your standard pepper. Next, Shaoxing wine, which is a Chinese cooking wine, and that is also available in supermarkets readily for you. So make sure you get those. It's another great pantry staple when you're doing Asian cuisine. Insert measuring cup and hit next, and I'm going to chop that down speed 3 for 10 seconds. So we had oyster sauce. You need oyster sauce in your pantry. Shaoxing wine, sesame oil, definitely, and fish sauce. Definitely pop those in your pantry. So keep measuring cup in, and we're going to knead that around for 1 minute. I'm actually going to make that step a little bit quick. I'm just going to give it a bit of a go. It doesn't really need a minute to do that. It's just mixing the meat and all those oils and sauces together. Just going to have a bit of a look. Yep. Now it wants me to add back the cabbage. So I'm just going to show you. So that's our mix. So that mixed down in like 20 seconds. You don't need to, you can continue to knead it for that 1 minute if you wanted to. For time tonight, I didn't want to waste that minute. So I'm just going to add back our cabbage back into our mix. What you'll find with these dumplings also, once you've made the base, which we're doing now, I'm going to show you how to wrap them, and you can freeze them in that state in your freezer. So then you've got them there ready to pull out whenever you're wanting some dumplings without having to go and buy them or buy them frozen or from the markets or something. People get a lot of dumplings. Okay, so that's it. Let's have a look. That's our dumpling mix. You can see it all mixed together really, really well. And now I'm just going to show you how to put them in the wrappers. Now, some people will make their own wrappers. I don't. I buy them at the supermarket. They're very cheap and they're cost effective and time effective too, but it's entirely up to you how you want to do that. Okay, so these are the wrappers that I make. They're round, not make, buy. They're round, like so. You can also buy wonton wrappers, which are square. So if you're making wontons, you can get square ones because you do fold them in a different manner. So to make my dumplings, all I need to do, I'm going to grab some water, and I'm literally just going to place a bit of water around the edges, like so. I'm going to grab a teaspoon and I'm going to pop a teaspoon of my mixture smack bang in the middle, like so. Now, I'm going to cheat tonight. So I've got this amazing mould. So dumpling moulds are also available on the Mix Shop. You can buy them in a lot of different stores as well. This one is actually, it's actually very cheap and it's plastic, and I got it from the Reject Shop. So There's lots of different options for you. If you wanted to steal one, we do have them in the mix shop, and they are a better quality than these, but this is going to do the trick. So I basically pop my wrapper with my filling in the center like so. And all I'm literally going to do is close it over and squeeze around the edges. See how it put out that excess? And I'm going to take my finger and just rip off that excess like so. Open it up. And look what I have. Can you see that okay? Or is it a bit glary? Oh, there it is. Look at that. It cannot get any easier. So around the outside, like so. Place it on my mold. Grab some filling. Pop it in the center. Like so. And fold in half, and it will seal it. Does anyone have these molds at home or anything similar? They are so easy. So there's another one I've just done. I'm just going to grab a board so you can see them properly. I don't think they can get any easier than these people. Anyway, so there they are there. Very, very easy. Now, how do you make a dumpling if you don't have a mold? Simple. Same process. Water around the outside, like so. Pop my filling in. Remember, you don't need a lot of filling. So it's probably not even a full teaspoon, probably 3/4 of a teaspoon. Pop it in the middle, like so. Close it over exactly the same and pinch the dough together, like so. What I like to do then is literally just go and do little fine pleats all along the top of your dumpling. So you end up with a very rough looking dumpling like this. So there's mine. They're the ones molded, and that's the freehand. So it's entirely up to you what shape you want to do. So what I'm going to be doing now, I'm going to cook about 6 of these. So what I need to do, on our Thermomix, it's telling me what to do. There's a video that tells me how to line my varoma as well. Don't need to do that. I'm going to hit next, and I'm going to get my bowl. Step by step, it shows you a video on how to do the dumplings, which is absolutely fantastic. There's some great recipes in there with video instructions. So it shows you how to do these things for you, which is great. It's like having a private tutor. 600 grams of water straight in. Done. And I'm going to get my varoma, and I'm going to place the dumplings on the tray. Now, this tray will fit probably a dozen, and you'll probably get 8 in the bottom. Couple of tips. You can use a little bit of paper underneath, or you could slice up a very thin piece of carrot and put underneath, so your dumpling will sit on top of the carrot if you wanted to. Or you could line it with some baking paper or the varoma sheets that are available in the mix shop. So I'm literally just going to pop them in. I've showed you the 3 that I've done. I'll mold a few more while Anne's showing her thing. And then all I do is put my lid on, put my varoma on top. Don't need that yet. Yep. And set it to cook. Now, these only take about 6 or 7 minutes. So if you're getting these straight out of the freezer, you can freeze them at this stage. You would probably cook them for about 8 minutes if you want to steam them, or you can pan fry these ones. It's entirely up to you which way you want to go. So I'm going to set these in motion and I'll come back and show you them later, but I think Conchetta might be ready for her next step. Can you just unmute yourself, Conchetta? Sorry.
Oh, every time. I had, Tracy, I've gotten to the good bit. I'm adding the prawns. So my broth has cooked for 10 minutes. It smells amazing. It's about half the bowl, so I won't tip it up. Anyway, I'll add these in.
So where did you buy these prawns, Conchetta?
I just bought them from the deli at the supermarket. So Coles down the road.
Yep.
The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add my noodles at this stage as well, because I know that the prawns only need to cook for 3 minutes. So that should be enough time for the noodles. So that's a little, I'm going to add them in as well.
So this is these noodles you've just added yourself to bulk out the meal. Is that correct?
Yes, I did want. I tried to find a noodle tom yum, but there wasn't one. So I thought I'll make my own.
Good on you. That's what we love. Love it.
Yes. And that's the flexibility of the Thermomix. You can add ingredients, take ingredients away.
So we've basically made the broth and everything. You've added the prawns.
Yes.
And now you just got to sit back and have a wine.
Yes. Into my wine. So this portion cooks for 3 minutes. So I'll be ready to eat soon.
Oh my God. And how good is that? How good is it that you can set it up to cook, go away and come back? I hope Anne can hear me. Can you hear me, Annie?
I can.
Yeah, we're up to you, darling.
All right. Sounds
I'm
good.
just asking you, how good is it you can set and forget?
Oh, sorry. In my own little world here. Now, I'm making the teriyaki, what's it called?
Salmon bao buns.
Teriyaki salmon baos, and I've got it here on my phone. I don't know if that's going to come up on the screen or
Yep.
not.
Yep.
Okay, now I just want to tell you that you can rate the recipe. So these little stars here give a rating, and if you like a recipe, could you please rate it? Because what it does is it helps people that are new to Thermomix to know which is a good recipe or not. So this teriyaki salmon baos has a rating of 4.7, and there are 43 of the participants rating it. So it's really quick and easy. I do this recipe at a demo, and I love to teach people how to make baos. I change it a little bit from what the recipe says. So we make a dough. Okay, the baos are made out of a dough, and look, it's really simple. You just follow the instructions. It tells you what to add. So it's got 2 tablespoons of olive oil, 2 teaspoons of dried yeast, 2 tablespoons of white sugar, 300 grams of baker's flour. You can use plain flour if you want to, but baker's flour is what they recommend. 170 grams of warm water. The water is warm to help activate the yeast, and the sugar helps that. A teaspoon of salt. And it's got a double raising agent. So it's got 2 teaspoons of baking powder in it as well. So this makes them light and fluffy. So basically you throw all of those ingredients into the bowl and mix it. And then you tip it into a greased bowl, or if you've got a thermomat, this is the large thermomat, you put it into this and you let it double in size. And it makes a considerable amount of them. It really does. It's a fabulous recipe. And then this is really simple to make the teriyaki, and this is teriyaki salmon, but you can do teriyaki chicken if you want to as well. So 3 centimeters of fresh ginger peeled, a fresh red chili trimmed and de-seeded if preferred. No, I've left the seeds in for my family, and I've put 2 chilies in. Let's see what it's like. 100 grams of soy sauce. Now, I was in Aldi.
I love it.
I was in Aldi today, and I bought this Asian style soy sauce. It's a slightly lighter style soy sauce. You can buy dark soy and you can buy light soy. So, and I also generally use tamari, which is another form of soy. and it doesn't have so many additives, etc. in it. So there's lots of different choices, and some supermarkets have them and some don't. Now, it says 120 grams of mirin. My supermarket doesn't have mirin, and so I substitute rice wine vinegar. It's perfectly fine to do that as well. And 50 grams of honey, and then basically we throw all of that into the Thermomix and mush it, and then we cook it for 13 minutes with the measuring cup off, and that's the marinade. So I have some marinade that I've done here earlier. Now, it's going to be really hard to show you this, but it's a nice dark marinade.
That looks so rich and beautiful.
It is. And what I've done is I've poured it over the salmon, and this, they recommend that you do it for half an hour. Now, when I'm doing this at a demo, it might get 5 minutes. Still works, still tastes good. Now, a little tip with your salmon. If you cut your salmon into smaller pieces, like cut the pieces that you purchase into smaller pieces, it will cook quicker. So what I do is I oil my Varoma top and bottom, and I just brush it with some oil. You can
normal, like olive oil or whatever you want.
Whatever you've got, doesn't really matter. It's as long as it's not really flavoursome oil. You can use these if you want. Tracy was talking about them before. These are the Varoma liners, and they're from the mix shop. You can get them with holes or without holes. Now, when you put these in, I recommend that you scrunch it up and you wet it, and then you spread it out. Today we don't need that. We want the steam to come all the way up through, and it's got nothing underneath it that it's going to drip on. So what I'm going to do is just get on my machine to the part where we're going to bake it. Actually, what am I doing? You can go to the 3 dots next to the recipe detail, and you can scroll down to the part where you're going to do it. I've got 700 grams of hot water in there, and it's asking me to place the Varoma tray on top. So I've got the Varoma in here. I've got some salmon in the bottom, and now I'm going to put the rest of the salmon in the top. Now, this is a quick, easy dish. There's not many ingredients in it, and it's simple and impressive. But what I really want to teach you today is how to roll out the bao bun. So let's just get the salmon on and let that go. So it's going to take 10 minutes on Varoma and speed 2. Right. Now, the next thing we're going to do is get our dough out, and I'll put some flour underneath it, so it's been proving here. Just put some flour underneath.
So this is a great step that you can sort of pre-do ready, so the dough's got time to prove, like we've done tonight, which is absolutely fantastic.
If you wanted, you could, like with a lot of bread doughs, you can prepare them in the morning and wrap them up, or put them in a grease bowl, put them in the fridge and let them prove slowly. I haven't honestly done it with the bao buns, but I'm pretty sure you could do it. So what we're going to do now, the recipe in the Thermomix on Cookie Dough tells you to shape it into a log, cut it up and roll them out individually. I don't do that. I did it the first time that I made them, and I had all sorts of different shapes.
So this tip that Anne's about to show you is going to change your life and make it so much easier. And this refers to anything that you want to shape smaller dough, whether it be bread rolls or bao buns or pastry. This is gold.
So roll this dough out. Don't leave it too thick. Just get it sort of, I can't describe how thin, but not super thin, but that makes sense, doesn't it?
So probably around the thickness of a lasagna sheet or a little bit.
No,
more.
a little bit thicker than that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour some olive oil on, and I'm just going to spread that oil all over the dough. And when the recipe talks about this, it suggests that you fold the bowl over a chopstick, etc. Lots of other remedies, but what I do is I take a cookie cutter. Now I had a chat with my family tonight and said, what size bows do you want? And they all said big. So we're doing big ones, all right? You can make them any size you want. If they're a little finger food at a party or something, you can make them small. It's up to you. You are in charge of it. It's not in charge of you. So basically, you just cut them out. And because we've coated them in olive oil, when you fold them, got nice olive oil on. When you fold it in half, we're just going to place that in the varoma and steam it, and they're not going to stick together, and they'll puff up beautifully, and they take 6 minutes to steam. So it actually makes a decent amount of quantity, which is fantastic.
Now, 6 minutes is really reasonable time. It's no time at all to cook these buns.
It is, and they taste so delicious. And you can actually steam them, and then you can freeze them if you want to. When I freeze them, I do put a little bit of baked paper in between so that when I defrost them, that they haven't stuck together. But yeah, they are great. They are really.
So, and do you defrost them completely, or is it okay?
Oh, I just throw them in the varoma and steam them again.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Warm them up. Yeah. Yeah. Fabulous. So with the leftover dough, I am going to bunch that up again and roll it out some more. It'll have a bit of oil on it and it's a bit slippery, but it's fine. They all work out. At the end, there's always one bao bun that looks crazy because it's just all the leftover bits, and we still use that. We still cook it as well. It's a fantastic recipe. It's so delicious and so easy and worth having a crack at. So what we've got here.
Oh, look at that. Look how many you got out of that one.
Yeah. And I'm going to roll that out again. So 1, 2, 3.
So just while you're, I don't know if you can get your hands nice and close, just show us how you fold them over again.
Yeah. So you've got a circle.
Yep.
And then it's got oil on it. Just fold it over, and then you'll just steam them like that. So I'm going to place them in an oil brushed varoma, and they will steam.
So before, if we were going to freeze them like that, you mentioned you put a little bit of baking paper in the middle, yeah?
I cook them, Tracy. I cook them first.
Oh, yeah?
And then I freeze them.
Beautiful.
And then I take them frozen and put them in the varoma and just steam them so that they're warm. They don't take much.
Okay. So we've got a couple of questions. One was, can these buns be frozen? We've answered that, Madeline, which is fantastic. We've got some people making the tom yum with prawns, which is awesome. The Asian shops sell these wrappers in 50-piece packs. I also got them from the supermarket today, just at Woolies, so they're available there. So, Anne, how much of your salmon have you got to go? What's the timing?
4 minutes to go. So would you like to go to somebody else?
Yeah, definitely. So what we'll do, if I can just, let me see where we're going. Where's Brie? Here she is. I'm going to add Brie back. And I'm going to add pancetta. There we go. There's all three of us now all together. Oh, no, I'm not there. Add spotlight. There we go. Sometimes I'm a little bit technically challenged, but we get there in the end.
We all are, Trace. We all are. We all have our moments.
Yeah. So, Bree, tell me about your chicken teriyaki. Actually, I'll remove it so we can see you better. Sorry. Go
Might
ahead.
need to rotate.
So it's finished?
Yeah, no, this is like such a quick and easy recipe. I've actually been twiddling my thumbs for a while. But really, you know, mouth watering over those bao buns.
Wow.
So pretty much I just stir fried up those veggies, and then I tip them into this same thermo server that I had the chicken in.
Yep.
And then once I'd done that, it was just some ginger, some cloves of garlic, some honey, some soy, blitz that up, and then I cooked up that as the teriyaki sauce, and then I just poured it over the contents of my thermo server and gave it a mix. And that was all there was to it. Now, normally when I would do this, we would have it, with either rice or vermicelli noodles. I'm being a bit cheeky. We're early dinner people in our house with our little munchkins. So this is going to be our dinner for tomorrow night. So I didn't cook up any vermicelli. I'm going to do that tomorrow night, but I will show you what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
This is just the chicken.
Yum.
That looks great.
Chicken
Look at
and
that
veg.
colour.
Oh, it's just amazing. I've actually obviously sprinkled some sesame seeds on it. We put cashews in our stir fries, so that's not part of the recipe, but I just sprinkled them on top as well. If I was just doing this for myself and my husband, I would probably put chili flakes on it too, or through the sauce when we were cooking it. It's got a bit of coriander on it too. But yeah, that with some vermicelli tomorrow night, that'll be just divine. Now, just wanted to show you something else if you've got time, Trace.
Absolutely, go for it.
So obviously I have sauteed chicken, I've stir-fried my veggies, I've done high heat and caramel and browning type things. I just thought that rather than doing like all the dishes myself, I just sort of thought I'd just put some water in and just do a bit of a pre-clean. So most people are probably familiar with the pre-clean, but it's just a fantastic function on our Thermomixes. I'll just go back home. So if you were wanting to do a pre-clean on something that you've cooked, you would just go, so home screen, swipe across, hit pre-clean. And depending on what you've done, like if it was Anne and she's just done her dough for her bao buns, she'd probably do a dough clean. I did a browning one just because I'd browned off that chicken earlier on. So I had a bit of browning caramelization down the bottom. And I've just done that. Oops, I've dropped you. Sorry, my friends. So I'll just show you what. So I've just got some water in there. I put a litre in here and I'll tip it out for you. So I put a litre of water in there and then did a pre-clean, and that just took a few minutes. Does still need a bit of a wipe, but considering that was...
Yeah, it gets all those oils and all that out of your bowl.
And it's just like, for some recipes it gets like absolutely everything out. And you know when you're doing like a stir fry, it creates so many dishes normally if you do it on the stove. You've really got to like scrub it. I just thought, the pre-clean, this recipe, fantastic. And I did that too. So I'd cooked dinner and done the dishes while you guys were cooking.
Oh, awesome. Now, I love to use a pre-clean too. So in our household, I'll dish up our dinner. I'll, or put in a thermo server. I'll throw the water in with a drop of liquid. Pre-clean does it while we're having dinner. It's absolutely fantastic. Great tip. And I absolutely love that dish. Thank you so much. That teriyaki marinade, you could definitely make that double and keep it in your fridge. It would last for quite some time. So that's another option there for you. Thank you so much. Chicken teriyaki people, give it a crack. Okay, Conchetta, how are you going with your tom yum? I'm so
Yes.
jealous.
So we're at the final stages. So what it wants us to do is add 30 grams of lime. So that's what I have here. And I'm going to use my spatula, so the pat spatula, to squeeze out all of that lime juice. These are really, really juicy limes. So we'll get all of that out. Add our herbs that we cut previously. Use our spoon to give it a bit of a stir.
Yep. How are the aromas at your house?
Oh, it smells amazing. I said it smells like I'm on holidays.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we're ready to serve. So my son has just come in and said, can I have some of that when you're ready?
You know what?
He's ready for bed.
Before Thermomix, there is no way I would even think about making tom yum. I would not even think that anything would be possible. And look how easy it is.
So easy. So let's get our camera down here.
That's delicious.
Yeah. Let's add a little bit more lime.
Yeah.
It smells amazing.
Now you've added vermicelli noodles as well.
Yes, I have.
Bulks it out a little bit more.
Yes.
I love that you guys have added in your own tweaks to these recipes. You know, Cookie Do is fantastic, but it is guided. So we can make changes or substitute as we want. Thank you so much, Conchetta. That was awesome. We'll pop back to you in just a second. Now, while we're nice and close on your Thermomix, actually, would you be able to show people where the slow cook function is, please?
Yes. So it's part of the, so you swipe, and it's part of the extra functions where you'll find the pre-clean and all of those sort of things. So there it is there. So the broth was going to cook for 60 minutes at 90 degrees. So what I did, I went into slow cook. Is it going to let me do it? Probably not, because I don't have, oh, yeah, there it is. So I selected 90 degrees. I selected the number of hours and I hit start. And what it did, it sort of turned the blades intermittently over that 6 hours.
Oh, yum. Now, we know coming into winter, the slow cook function is going to be absolutely amazing. So being able to use that with your Thermomix is a brand new option that we've all upgraded. So with your Thermomix 6, it actually upgrades as you go along. So unlike a mobile phone, once it's done its 2 years, it's pretty well out of date. You've got to buy another one for however much money they are. They're usually about $2,000 these days. Your Thermomix 6 is going to update as it goes. If you have a 5 with a cook key, you will also get some of those upgrades, although there are some functions that are specific for a Thermomix 6. So as you've seen, Conchetta swipe through her screen, there's about 18 on that page now. We've got the slow cook fermentation, so you can make your own yogurt, kefir, whatever fermentation you want to do, sourdough. There's a rice cooker, there's the egg boiler mode, which is amazing. We use that all the time. Great for cooking hot dogs as well in the egg boiler mode because the blades don't move. So it just heats the water. Yeah, so make sure you swipe across, have a look at all those different functions, because when you're doing your own recipes, you can use those in your cooking as well. So while I'm here, I can see Anne in the background there. What are you up to, Anne?
Well, I've put my bowls in the aroma, so they are steaming.
Yum. Yep.
I think I got about 16. I've got them in the top and the bottom. So
you've got about 16 cooking all at once. So that's a really good quantity for a family, isn't it?
Yeah. And so we made the teriyaki sauce and we used half of it to marinate the chicken, and then we steamed the chicken. Then the other half I kept, and then we pour that over the salmon. The other half I've poured over the salmon once it's cooked, and then you serve the bows with some spring onion and some cucumber and a little bit of coriander. So they've got 2 minutes left to cook, and then we'll
come back. We'll come back. We'll come back to you in 2 minutes. I'll just show them mine and we'll pop back to you. Okay, so let's have a look. I'm just getting my dumplings out, which are so light. They're actually transparent. They're just beautiful and smell delicious. So I'm just popping them on a plate. I'll show you on the screen in a minute. So they're done. Now, quick tip. We've used our aroma a lot tonight, and it's a great way to add extra vegetables. You can cook a lot more things all at once. You can do the layered cooking as well. A really good tip when you're using your aroma, when it's finished and you need to lift the lid, make sure it is away from your face. So if I was to open it this way, I would cough a heap of steam in my face. Not a good option. So make sure it's away from you. And that goes also with the Thermomix bowl. If you're taking the lid off, make sure it's away from your face to let the steam escape first. Okay, have a look at these. These are my dumplings. Can you see them okay? Oh, there they are. So I've just got a little bit of soy sauce there ready to serve with them. I'll just pick one up. They're holding together beautifully. See how transparent they are? You can almost see through those wrappers with the meat in the middle. These are great. I've made about 8, and I'm going to enjoy those very much very shortly. And I'm going to make the rest, and I'm going to take them for my lunch tomorrow. So I'm going to cook them. And then tomorrow when I'm at work, I can just quickly zap them in the microwave with a little bit of water, a bit of Glad wrap over them, and just heat them through again. Banana puddings, you say? Let me have a look at these. These are amazing as well. So I've got, can you see the banana on top? It becomes a real feature when you're looking at this dish. I've sprinkled a little bit of chocolate and I've got some cream on my bowl as well. Beautiful, beautiful recipe. If you make some quick custard and serve with these, would be absolutely delicious. So this is what they look like when they're in the dairy molds. So you can see they've almost filled to the top. Now, to get them out, you would think, oh, they're going to be difficult to get out of these silicone molds. I'm going to show you how easy they are. Basically, plate upside down, pinch the sides, and then literally lift away. So you can imagine serving them up to family for a dessert or anything like that. But they just slip out real easy. Make some custard, pour it over the top. Delicious. So they're the steamed banana puddings. I'll pop those in the email as well, along with the dumplings. Now, I made beef dumplings today. You can do pork or chicken. Okay, any questions? Let me have a look. Slow cook function is amazing, which is great. Saves her taking the slow cooker in the caravan, Madeline. Great tip. Instead of having a few different appliances, you only have the one. Absolutely. Pre-clean mode is on the 6. I think it is available on the 5 with a cook key, isn't it? The pre-clean mode.
Yes,
Good question.
Yes.
No, it definitely is, but it I think it's a single pre-clean. It doesn't have the the choices, but still very good.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. How are we going, Anne? Have we got some?
Yes, we're really, really close. In fact, it's got 20 seconds to go, so I think I could probably stop it. And let's have a look at them. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we did get 16 bows, so they are super hot. So I'll pull one out now and like they look.
Oh, look at that. Look at the size of them. They're beautiful.
I know, they fluff up beautifully. They really, really do. They're amazing. They certainly look the part. And now what I'm going to do is add some, they're hot. Ooh, add some salmon in. And I know I kept saying teriyaki chicken. Can you tell that we sometimes do chicken instead of salmon?
Yeah.
And then just what I've done is I've just sliced up some spring onion and place that in each one, and then some cucumber to counteract the chili. Now, I have had an abundance of chilies, and I've been making sweet chili jam, and
Oh, yum.
this is with my red chilies and my red tomatoes. This is with my green chilies and my green tomatoes, and it's absolutely delicious. I've been just about making a batch of it every day. So you can add some quirky mayonnaise to it. Quirky mayonnaise is on cookie dough as well, or you can add the sweet chili jam to it, or you can just serve them the way they are. You don't need to add any more condiment to it at all. I like to add coriander to them.
Death to coriander.
I love it.
Great.
Absolutely love it. So I might just plate them onto a nice little lacquer plate.
Look at those. Wow.
Here we are. Our teriyaki
Delicious.
salmon bows. The bows are so easy to make. They're beautiful. They really are. Have a crack at making them. They are so easy. That just remember to roll it out into one piece, cover it with oil, and then just brush it with oil, and then cut them out and fold them over and steam them. 6 minutes and they're done.
Look at that. And the fact that you can freeze them is amazing.
Yeah.
So well done, everyone. Does anyone have any questions or anything for any of us while we're all here together? I can see there's a lot in the chat. They're going to make some beautiful dishes. Good idea, Conchetta. I'm going to show you mine. We can just hold up all our
Oh, I've already put mine in my thermo server for tomorrow.
good on you.
I thought you
Awesome.
might have eaten it.
Yeah.
We've made some delicious dishes tonight, and I hope we've inspired you to try some Asian cuisine or some different flavors from around the world that can all be available on cookiedo.com. We've definitely got some people going to be making most of these recipes, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, before we sign off, you ladies are part of our team. I'm so grateful and so blessed to have you working beside me every single day. Thank you so much for coming along and sharing your awesome tips and hints to make sure our customers get the most out of their Thermomix. So thank you very, very much. And I'm sure everyone on here tonight thanks you as well. So before we sign off, a couple of things. You will be receiving an email probably tomorrow night with the recipe links. I can't send it any earlier than that, unfortunately, but if you would like to message myself, Bree, Conchetta, or Anne, whoever you know, we can definitely share those recipes with you. I'm just going to be a little bit pushed for time to get it out before tomorrow night. Have a go at some different things. If you would like some more information about, hi family, they're waiting in the wings for that food.
They're ready to eat.
If you guys would like some more information about hosting an online or in-person cook-up with your consultant, please reach out to them and book yourself in. Get a second, third or fourth bowl. You will not regret it. If you would like to know more about the business opportunity that is Thermomix, we do have vacancies in our region and across Australia, actually. If you'd like more information, reach out to your consultant. If you don't have one, contact one of us here today and we're more than happy to help you out as well. So once again, thank you for joining us. We're going to have a cookie do session next week, and I think I will keep that on the Wednesday as well. So I'm going to be logging in to my cookie do. I'm going to show you how to save, how to do meal plans, where to find all these awesome recipes and filters. So I'll pop that event up. I actually had one 2 weeks ago, but the link was faulty. So I'm going to do it again for you next Wednesday. So stay tuned for that. And in the meantime, stay safe, be happy, and enjoy your thermomixing.
Thanks for coming, everyone. Thanks. See you all.
Thanks very much.
It's a pleasure. Come off mute and say hello. I'm just going to
grab a spoon.